Hi, everybody. I'm Arkush for ChicagoSunTimes.com. And if you play fantasy football this weekend, you've either got your championship game or your semifinals. It is playoffs time, and so we've got some tips for you. Actually, a bunch of players confined to just 2 games who can either make or break your fantasy season. And we're going to start it off real easy with that Falcons and Saints game. You take a look at the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan should put up a lot of points against that New Orleans defense. And we like Steven Jackson, who has run the ball much better during the second half of the season than he did early. Now, the one you got to keep an eye on is Julio Jones is a no-brainer. You start him if he's healthy. But if he's not healthy, you should have picked up Harry Douglas off of waivers, and he had a big week last week, 13 fantasy points. He's a guy that you can plug in again if you've got Jones. You got to be watching the actives and inactives early Sunday morning, but Harry Douglas is a guy you should grab off the waiver wire right now if he is available to you. Now let's turn it around in that same game. The Atlanta Falcons don't play very good defense either. They will be on the road at New Orleans. The Saints have lost 4 straight at home, but they do put up points in their own building. Pierre Thomas has been coming on quite a bit for them as of late. Mark Ingram has been their starter, been a pretty good fantasy producer. You can play him as well, but Pierre Thomas has become a key cog in that passing game. He'll pile up 60, 70, 80 yards for you, maybe get in the end zone as well. Kenny Stills, a wide receiver who piles up yardage and scores touchdowns, another guy that you definitely want to play. Some people have stayed away from Jimmy Graham and Marcus Colston. Reports that they weren't healthy, they weren't producing. If you've got them, you got to play them this weekend. I know you've been playing Jimmy Graham anyway. He may pay off for you this week. Marcus Colston is another guy to get in your lineup. Now, the other game that we're going to focus on is right here in Chicago. The Detroit Lions are coming to town. You're always going to play Matt Stafford and, of course, Megatron, Calvin Johnson if you've got him. But in addition to that, they've been trying to get Reggie Bush healthy. We think they're going to work hard at that against the Chicago Bears this week. Reggie Bush would be a good guy to get back in the lineup if you've had him on the bench. Also, Joique Bell, player that is very productive for you and somebody that you should use if you can. And the rookie tight end, Eric Ebron. He's been a bit of a disappointment this year. Didn't do much the first half of the season, but he's been better in recent weeks. If you've got a flex player or you're not sure about your tight end, Ebron could be a guy that you want to plug in. Now, the obvious, the matchups that you want to avoid. Be very careful if Jay Cutler is your quarterback. Make a lineup change. Don't forget, Cutler is probably not going to be on the field Sunday. Don't plug in Jimmy Clausen, though. Look at the waiver wire. Find anybody else you can get at quarterback to replace Cutler. We are not optimistic about what Jimmy Clausen is going to do this week. And because Clausen is a quarterback, stay away from Alshon Jeffrey. He's not a guy who's going to produce. A lot of people might have grabbed Marquise Wilson off the waiver wire thinking that he will get all of the reps that were going to Brandon Marshall. Well, they tried that the last couple weeks. It's not working out so well. You don't want any Chicago Bear offensive players lining up on fantasy for you. If you're looking for a defense and you have the Detroit defense or it's available to you, grab it off the waiver wire. It's going to be a great week for the Detroit defense and special teams to pile up some points. That'll do it for our fantasy football report. But for the very best in sports, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, stay right where you're at ChicagoSunTimes.com.